Hi there. You may have wondered why we stuck to black and white and graphite and charcoal, and that's partly because I want you to prepare in your mind to work and with color. And to do this, you have to understand light and shadow on more than an instinctual level. You need to feel where the shadow is and where the light spot is, and understand that there will be shadow on the bright side of a subject as well as on the shadowed side. We're sticking to that for the moment, but in the meantime, we're also going to start talking about the basics of color work. And color theory, when we're talking about art, is different from color theory when you're talking about light in a scientific way. If you've learned color theory from a scientific point of view, put it in the back of your mind, because it works differently when you're dealing with art. And if you haven't learned the scientific approach to color and light, don't let the art side confuse you when you get to it. Primary colors in art is red, yellow, and blue. We talk about the painter's color wheel, and it was originally designed by a very famous chap called Sir Isaac Newton, who developed the theory of gravity, which you probably have dealt with in science. And it's really to get our very logical minds in the human mind to understand the logical connections and relationships between the different colors. We start with the primary colors of red, yellow, and blue. What I would like you to do is to take out your colored pencils and pick up the brightest yellow, the brightest red, and the brightest blue you've got. It's usually called a cerulean blue or an ocean blue, and put them in the triangle, which I will show you in a moment. And then look at your pencils and decide which one should rest between the yellow and the red, which one should rest between the red and the blue, and which one should rest between the blue and the yellow. And look at them for a while and try and understand in your mind why you've placed the specific colors between the others. Now, the colors that should belong between the primary colors are called secondary colors. And the one that's between the yellow and the red is orange. And you might have played in art with it before, where you mix red and yellow and you get orange. And in theory, we could go out painting with just yellow, blue, and red and be able to paint anything we like to see. It requires a lot more skill than I, after 50 years of painting, have to do that. That's why the luxury of having more colors actually becomes so wonderful. You've got your 6 pencils on the table. Now think about what you think should rest between orange and red. It should be sort of a reddish orange, and between red and purple, which should be sort of a reddish purple. And find one that is between the purple and the blue, between the blue and the green, between the green and the yellow and the orange. And the colors you've just put into the wheel, those are your tertiary colors. And with that, except for black and white, you have your basic palette. Now there's gradients of colors in between all of these colors and shades, but that is your basic color wheel. Primary colors, red, yellow, blue. Secondary colors, orange, purple, and green. And tertiary colors, which each have a name, which we will get to, but it's basically red, orange, red, purple, blue, green, and yellow, orange. And we'll stop there for the moment. Bye from Mount Bear.